Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at Solana. I get a question a lot recently if we should short Solana or what the deal is. So we're just going to try to address that, see if it's a good idea, or obviously if we're going to want to go long to the upside because Solana's in a precarious position. So we're going to take a look. Now, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I just love teaching people how to trade. This is my day job, my passion. I just truly love helping people become better traders. So I hope you can learn a thing or two here today. If you need more of an advanced look on things, I've got a trading academy, and also I send out signals for every single trade I take. But we also just have a trading community where we all learn and grow together. We have roundtable discussions, a lot of cool stuff. Check that out in your own time. Link in the description below, or go to CryptoCache.tech. Now, taking a look here at Solana. Simply put, it's been on the downtrend overall for a while. Okay, there's no surprise there. It rose up way too fast, flew too close to the sun, as I like to say, and it's come crashing down. It doesn't have a lot of volume below the current price point, right? So honestly, we're kind of in this uncharted territory situation where we're building that volume profile right at this area. And if you look at this volume, that's really low, even still, considering right where how much how much time we spent here, right? So something to consider, big picture, if we were to kind of take all that previous away, we just look at the current price point, there's a tremendous amount of resistance above the price action now. So just know that it's going to be difficult to get past $136 again. It's just my opinion. And again, my opinion is based on the fact that volume speaks very loud, and it's definitely something that not a lot of people look at, and understanding the volume profile is important. So again, right now, if we look at the volume profile, actually we zoom in a little bit more, we'll probably see the volume is starting to build, right? Obviously right here at the foundation, we look at just a really small picture in the last 2 to 3 weeks of trading data, or I guess is more so a month or so. We see the most amount of volume here. That's good, that's important, we need that. That's going to help us build up, right? But the truth be told, if we lose this support here right around $90, then we're going to have a pretty tough time holding that support. So I just want you to know that it's fragile at this point right now. Solana is not in a great position. We need to continue to build this volume to get out of this hole, for lack of better terms. Okay. So that being said, that kind of just tells us overall what's going on. It also tells us too that we're still considered bearish. We're not over 50 on the RSI. To me, that's an indication that we haven't gotten past a major key level resistance, which at this point you can kind of see is right around 110. 110 keeps getting rejected by the price. That's happened about 3 days in a row. Today it's tentatively pushing for that, but again, Bitcoin's up 9% on the day. It went up 9% in 3 hours. Do you really think that little increase from Bitcoin is going to be enough for Solana to take off? I don't think so. We need to see more stability from Bitcoin to be able to have that option, right? So just bear that in mind. That we're not out of the woods yet by any means, but it's looking better. Okay, I just much rather see 50 on the RSI be below the price action. So for lack of better terms, we need to probably pass 120 before we can have that confidence that Solana's back on track. And I would also recommend, highly urge you to consider understanding how Bitcoin behaves. I have a video I just made, of course, on Bitcoin. I make one every day, and you need to understand that you want to be careful right now with Bitcoin's behavior. We want to wait until the one-day candlestick closes first to understand roughly where we're at. Solana is no different, right? It's going to be following Bitcoin somewhat. Yes, we had a surge recently and a sell-off, but generally speaking, this is a very similar pattern to Bitcoin. Okay, so just acknowledge that. We just got to acknowledge the elephant in the room. All right, so that's the one-day chart. Look at the 4-hour. This is the midterm, a little bit more so. We're up over 50 on the SMA. That's awesome news, and we're also below 200 on the 4-hour here. So what that basically just means is that the price action is kind of working its way into this little wedge here. We should likely see it break to the upside because 50 intersects with a 200 in upward fashion. That's commonly a very good sign that usually refers to as a golden cross, and essentially just pushes the price action higher, helps the price get past that 200. Now, is there any guarantees on that? No. In fact, we could argue the fact that we are at a death cross right now on the one-day chart for Solana, and the price should go down because of that. But I don't think that is relevant right now because Bitcoin is controlling Solana and it's controlling the market, right? So we need to recognize that. If this coin is moving independent of Bitcoin, just say for example, then you might want to take caution when you see a death cross forming, okay? But again, the more important death cross to acknowledge would be Bitcoin's if it were to have one, and it doesn't right now, so we're fine. All right, anyways, that's where we're at on the 4-hour, up over 50 on the SMA as well, which is equally as important. That does help us understand that on the midterm, the shift is more so bullish versus bearish. So if this continues on the midterm, right, just say, for example, we stay closer to 70, kind of just trend above 50 for a while, then the 50 on the RSI will effectively be higher on the one-day chart, right? And that'll translate to allow for us to see that macro movement. Right now, this midterm isn't really telling us a lot, except that it is making higher lows, but it hasn't made higher highs yet. Okay. So that could essentially be, a type of ascending wedge type of pattern that's forming. So it could take a little while to kind of break up to the upside, or it could come down and just kind of test this again and then go, right? There is that potential. But if Bitcoin drops tomorrow or today, at the end of the trading day, we see 38,000 or lower, none of this is going to matter. So just understand that. Please understand what Bitcoin's doing. I hate to have to say that in every video, but that's literally the case for the market for the most part right now. We did have a MACD convergence at 5 a.m. here today, so we can kind of see this here. Let's go ahead and see how that translates to the Ichimoku cloud on the 1 hour. Because oftentimes you'll see the price break right above the cloud, which we saw right here. At the same time, we get a MACD convergence. So that's typically a really good sign to go long, right? Again, I want to urge caution and understanding that Bitcoin isn't fully finished its little fit or whatever the heck's happening right now. But generally speaking, we see the price action acting like this. We want to be careful. But this does tell us that we're shifting from bearish to bullish on the midterm as well as on the short term, okay? That translates into a long-term movement, and we could effectively see higher highs and higher lows eventually. But for right now, we want to celebrate the small stuff here in that sense, whereas the Ichimoku cloud is definitely giving us an indication to keep our long position open. Doesn't necessarily mean you want to take a long position right now, because we're getting into a resistance level here, right? As you can see, 110 is a point of contention. So we want to be careful. Again, exercise caution. Dollar cost average if you're going to plan on investing in Solana. That's all well and good. Just don't put all of your eggs into one basket right now, because Solana could literally drop its bottom at $90 and we could see a significant drop from there. It very well could happen. Not trying to concern you at all, but it's still overextended, right? Just bear that in mind. All right, last thing to look at would be TD sequential, and we don't really have much here. We had a reset. We went up to a 9, down to a 5, and back up to a 3. And once again, we got these 3 hours of bullish momentum. That's roughly about a 9.5% increase from Solana, which is synonymous with Bitcoin's behavior. Right now, Bitcoin's consolidating at that support of 40,250. Actually, it's more so a resistance for now, but if it can stay and break above and close above on the 1 day, then it'll be considered a support. Once again, we don't have that confirmation yet. Trading day is still open. We've got 3 to 4 hours left in the regular traditional trading day. And until that actually comes to fruition and finalizes, then I would be very, very cautious and understand that we are tentatively in good shape. Okay. Same thing with Solana here. Do not, by any consideration, just think that you want to go long and straight to the moon because of this is happening. Inverse also applies. Don't just take a short position because it appears to be overextended. Bitcoin has a tendency of surprising us, right? Get ready for a surprise. That's all I can say. I don't know what it's going to do. Nobody truly knows, but it does look like it's shaping up to, either test that resistance or break it, right? We just got to wait for it to happen. There's really no way to understand what's going to happen next. The only thing you can understand is that you got to be cautious going into this type of scenario, but something to kind of help you ease your mind. The short term is looking good, right? We got higher lows, and we do not have a higher high yet. Until we can get a higher high here, I don't feel extremely confident in Solana increasing past this point. Even though we do have an ascending type of wedge pattern forming, we got to wait a little bit longer for more data. Okay. So again, mostly good stuff here for Solana. If you kind of take all the data we've looked at so far, it's mostly good. 60, 70, 80% likelihood that it's going to continue upwards. It's giving us a lot of good indications. I'm just not sold on Bitcoin breaking 40,500 yet. And until we see that happen, Solana to me is a tentative investment. Okay, that's just my personal thoughts. If you're going to invest, I would say dollar cost average. Don't do any type of leverage at this point. Things are kind of crazy. You're basically just gambling if you do that. That's your thing. Go ahead. But if you're not much of a gambler type, or perhaps you need to improve on being a gambler, I recommend you become a community member, because I actually talk about that in great detail within my trading academy, and I try to help you get good, strong foundational knowledge on how to be a better trader, because most of us think that being good traders is learning these charts. A lot of it's mostly just emotional disconnection and essentially being better with the psychology of how to be a trader, right? I've tempered myself for the last 15 years on this stuff, so I can assure you I've beaten my head against the wall in multiple ways, and it's not worth it. So the best thing to do is to be patient, look for new opportunities. There's always going to be new opportunities, and you don't need to feel like you missed out. FOMO is a bad thing. Anyways, enough about that. You can learn more, of course, if you decide you want to join. CryptoCache.tech, link in the description below. I hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. Thanks for watching.